Hi everyone! So today we're going to talk about engaging your core and how to do this properly. It's really important that you learn how to engage your core the correct way with the correct muscles, because if this is done incorrectly, you can overwork other muscles and you won't get the most benefit out of your exercises. So engaging our core is all about giving our trunk support, not just for your lower back, but for your pelvis and the rest of your body. So we're going to look at how to do this properly first of all. So if you come down onto your mat, just with a little bit of head support if you need it, and we're going to begin by coming into the neutral position, which is the rest position that we always start in. So if you have your knees and feet hip distance apart, and pop your hands onto your pelvis. So to find our neutral position for our pelvis, you're just going to rock your pelvis backwards and forwards. You'll find that you create a big space under the small of your back, and then you're going to close that space down again. So these are the two extreme movements of your pelvis, and you want to try and rest somewhere in the middle. So you should still have a small gap underneath here. And this is because your spine naturally has curves, so we want to exercise with those in the right place. If you were to exercise with your back flat to the floor, it's not a true reflection of our bodies and when we're in our normal position. So we want to be in that right position. And the research shows that activating your core in the neutral position is actually more effective than exercising posteriorly tilted like this, or anteriorly tilted like this. So find that middle ground so that you've got just your small curve underneath, and you should be level across your hip bones at the top here. Okay, so that's us set our pelvis in neutral. You then want to check what your rib cage is doing. So the rib cage connects down to the core muscles, so we don't want the rib cage to be flared up like this, okay? So rib flaring is a sign that you have lost your neutral spine and that you also don't have engagement around your core. So set that pelvis and then just think about drawing that rib cage down towards your hip bones and keeping that connection, okay? And then through the top half of your body, you want the collarbones to be really nice and wide, and the arms would be flat by your sides, okay? So we don't want the shoulders drawn up like this. We want them flat down by our sides. So once you've got your neutral spine position, your neck should be nice and long. You should be relaxed around the top half as well. We're just going to talk about how to actually engage your core. So using your first two fingers, put them on your hip bones, bring them about an inch or so in, and about an inch or so down. So you're in your lower abdominal region, okay? So you're not too high up, you are actually quite low down, you're below the hip bones. Once you're in that position there, you want to gently draw those muscles in towards your mat, about 30% or so. And as you do that, you'll feel the tension pressing against these two fingers. And then let go. So to engage, we're going to gently draw those muscles inwards, hold, and relax. Draw them in, hold, and relax. What you want to watch out for is quite often when people do this, they actually brace and tense themselves. And you can see when I go to do that, how I just grip my body and I've actually flattened my back as well, okay? So there's a couple of things you can think of to do this. So if you either feeling the connection underneath the fingertips, you can think of a belt around your waist, gently pulling inwards, so the belt tightening around your waist as your core draws in. Or you can think of two magnets on your hip bones being drawn in towards each other, so drawing inwards, creating that tension. So let's try it out a few different ways. So with your body in your neutral position, we're going to engage your core. So draw those muscles inwards about 30% or so, and we're going to hold that connection. So you want to feel that belt getting a little bit tighter and just staying pulled in as you rest yourself in this position. Now that can be quite dull just to stay in this position. So we're going to take it into our hundreds, which is the main endurance exercise in our Pilates. So for our hundreds, we want to keep that connection, and we're going to gently start some pulses through the arms. So these pulses create an oscillation across the middle that you then have to control. And it can be really good just to feel those core muscles working as we do so. Okay, if you feel that you have let go of that tension, just stop and reset again. So just breathe out, let go, and then reconnect those muscles. The other way that I like to think of it is imagine that somebody is going to give you a prod in the stomach and you're going to just gently flinch away from them, but only your 30% or so. Okay, so let's try that one more time. Engage your core and let's begin our hundreds. So we're going to introduce some breathing to make sure that you're not holding your breath. So we're going to breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And then if you can continue like that, keeping that tension on, then you're doing well. Okay, let's relax those hands down. We're going to try just moving the arms to see if we can control that rib cage position. So with the rib cage softened down, the core is engaged, the hands are by your side. We're going to float those arms up to here, widen through the chest and shoulders so that the shoulder blades are on the floor. And from here, we're going to float those arms over the top and back to the start. Breathing out as we move, breathing in as we come back. So as I'm doing this, I'm keeping my body absolutely still and I'm keeping that core connection across my lower abdominal region. I'm avoiding letting my rib cage lift up or letting my lower back arch. Okay, so we want to try and avoid those movements to keep the control. Okay, bring the arms to the start. We will try it with the leg control now. So in the same neutral position here, let's engage that core, your 30% or so once more. We're going to take a one leg stretch. So we're going to glide this leg away and then bring it back to the start. Switching to the other leg and back to the start. So as I'm doing this, I'm keeping my pelvis absolutely still. And you'll notice that that arch under here has not changed. My rib cage has not changed. But I can feel that I'm working from that core to do those movements. As we're doing this, we want to exhale as we stretch away. We want to inhale as we come back. Now don't let the breathing confuse you for these, but it is important because our core muscles work more efficiently on that outward breath. So as I breathe out, they are working better. And that's really important when we're moving on to harder exercises that we get the hang of this. Okay, so that's how we engage our core, and we want to apply that to all of our Pilates exercises or to any exercises that you do that involve any strenuous work. So any gym work, whether it's body weight, whether it's weights, this will be useful for all of them.